Sarada didn't get the water. Oh wait, Banga's on his way, and don't look now, but the dogs are here too. The only thing that could go worse is if this guy Kokuri actually steps over the border and burns from the inside out.
Check my clock, I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop.
Boruto episode 146 review. Alright guys, this episode was definitely a decent episode. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad in my opinion, but of course it was more of a setup episode. The next episode of Boruto is supposed to be the big blow, it's supposed to be the big kahuna, it's supposed to be the one that everybody wants to see, man, because Team 7 plus Kokuri, matter of fact, let's who we kidding. Team 7 is going to be fighting the second in command of the Mujina bandits, and I'm pretty sure he's going to show some extremely hacked jutsus and possibly some things that Team 7 has never seen before. But in this episode particularly, what we've seen was a couple of things. Now, first things first, we think that Banga might be dead, and hallelujah, this guy was definitely a thorn in my side. I actually did not like his character at all, but in my opinion, I think he did fill the role that he was intended to fill. He was pretty much like an extremely corrupt jail boss, and that right there is definitely a realistic factor in a lot of jails as of right now. So of course, Boruto going into a situation like that right there is extremely realistic. But all I'm saying is that the arc would have went a lot more smoother if he was a nice guy. But regardless, the reason why he seems to be out of commission, no one really knows if he's actually dead, but he released Tsukiyo, the number 2 in command for the Mujina bandits, all because Banga felt like his back was against the wall and he didn't really know what to do after Team 7 completely bamboozled and shut down his plan to capture them. Now, I do want to point this out, and this is going to be something different from the other episodes of this arc that we did see. In the other episodes of this arc, there was a lot of tension. This episode, there wasn't really much tension. The writers didn't necessarily do a good job of making the audience actually feel that tension, and in my opinion, it was extremely lazy. One of the things that could have been really cool in this episode, and of course, this is not the reason why I'm saying that the writers didn't necessarily do a good job, but one of the things that could have been really cool is if the summoning jutsu from Banga was actually the same summoning jutsu from Pain. If you guys do recall, Pain has a similar summoning jutsu to that, but it was a lot more overpowered in its own way. Pain's summoning jutsu can actually grow heads and split into multiple dogs. This summoning jutsu wasn't really like that. Of course, it had the same appearance at first blush, but he was really set there to pretty much maintain the prison, mainly because he can hunt down escapees, and of course, that's exactly what it did. Now, in terms of the actual action scene of Team 7 versus this dog, it really wasn't that good, and this is definitely a theme with the Boruto anime. In the Boruto anime, they failed to build up the character of the enemy, and here's why that's a problem. Boruto and Mitsuki pretty much didn't really do anything when they were confronted by the dog for the second time. Of course, the first time, Mitsuki did some sort of lightning jutsu and got the dog stuck, and they got free from the dog for that time being. They met back up and the dog had an upper hand on everybody, but at that particular moment, it seemed like Mitsuki and Boruto didn't really do anything and couldn't really do anything to the dog. But at that particular moment, we don't really know if the dog is actually strong. For example, I do want to point this out. This right here is going to be an extreme comparison, but they did this perfectly in terms of the Naruto Shippuden anime. If you guys do recall, one of the first times that we seen the Diva Path of Pain, we didn't really know the extent of all of this power, but in the battle versus Kakashi, Kakashi pulled out literally all the stops. And just off of that scene right there, the audience gained so much respect for that path of pain. And of course, that path of pain pretty much carried that character development in the fight versus Naruto and was the last path of pain standing. But in this particular point, we didn't really know what the dog could possibly do. We seen him blow some fire, but that was pretty much it other than being big and huge. So in that particular scene, it just seems like Boruto and Mitsuki at that particular point were extremely fodder. Boruto and Mitsuki didn't really pull out any stops to stop this dog thing. But here's the caveat. A lot of episodes like this happen in the anime of Boruto to set up the next episode. For example, I don't really know this for sure, so don't take my words for gospel on this one, but it just seems extremely obvious in my opinion. The episodes before the actual real episodes that get everybody's attentions, they aren't the best anime, they aren't the best written, and the art really isn't that good. And one of the prime examples is before episode 65, arguably the best action scene in all of Boruto and even all of Naruto as well. That right there obviously was the fight versus Momoshiki, Naruto, and Sasuke. The episode before that, we seen Momoshiki look like this with his Rinnegan looking like this. The drawing looked completely amateur, but in the episode after that, Momoshiki looked like this. Like, it just clearly seemed like they really didn't put that much effort into episode 64 in terms of Momoshiki's transformation. I do want to point this out. Episode 64 was definitely a very important scene, man, because we did see Momoshiki and Kinshiki versus the 5 Kage plus Sasuke. So that right there was definitely a very good sight to see. And of course, they did have to put at least some sort of effort. But in terms of the later on parts of that episode, it seems like they focused all of the resources on episode 65. So it just seems like because this episode wasn't necessarily the best, the next episode is supposed to be extremely good. The next episode, in my opinion, should have some of the best animation, some of the best art, and some of the best storyline and choreography between that fight. And that's why I'm not necessarily so mad about this episode lacking so much, in my opinion. Some of you guys might have different opinions, but one thing I do want to point out, the storyline still kept the same lore to it, in my opinion. It's still a very good storyline. It's just how the episode was written I took issue with, but of course I'm okay with it if the next episode is going to bring top tier everything to the table. But here's the thing that I really got frustrated with in this episode, and it's Kokuri. And I know it's not just me. A lot of you guys probably feel a little bit frustrated with Kokuri as well, but it's like every single time Kokuri is supposed to do something critical into keeping everything into position, he just messed everything up. They're making a regular ninja jump, Kokuri messes up. They're climbing down a ladder, Kokuri messes up. Like, honestly, towards the middle of the episode, Sarada didn't get the water. Oh wait, Banga's on his way, and don't look now, but the dogs are here too. The only thing that could go worse is if this guy Kokuri actually steps over the border and burns from the inside out. Like, what are you thinking about, bruv? I was just so mad I really couldn't help but laugh. But Kokuri in this past episode, it just got me so tight. It's like, yo, what are we even trying to save this guy for? Like, at this point, we know he doesn't really know a lot about the Mujina bandits. This is really a lost cause. Like, let's just go. But regardless, as I said in the beginning, this was definitely a decent episode, and because of the shortcomings, you understand the next episode is supposed to be the actual big blood of this supposed early part of the arc. So I'm not necessarily so mad that this episode was a little bit off, but let me know what you guys think about this episode in the comment section below, and give me some of your favorite moments. It was just so infuriating that I had to laugh. That Kokuri stepping over the border again, just basically trying to commit not alive at this point. That right there was just so funny to me. But let me know what you guys think. It's been your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.